Semmelsberger knew Wells was going to start hot. This man is an athlete. He's explosive. So he said, I'm going to literally sprint to the middle of the cage, and as soon as you come in, I'm sitting down on a right hand straight down the pipe. Hurts Wells 2 seconds into the fight, and then instincts take over, and we had ourselves a barn burner in that first round, right? Now, the problem is scoring. That's what we need to talk about. Scoring criteria here. Damage versus control. And in this particular matchup, control trumped damage. Semmelsberger may have only landed 35 significant strikes in the whole fight, but he had Wells on Queer Street multiple times, man. We're talking rocked in round 1, rocked in round 2, round 3. A little, didn't really get a chance to rock him, but still landed probably the bigger damage. However, Jeremiah Wells convincingly 30-27 times 2 right there in this split decision. So let's talk about it, man. Are you concerned with the way this was scored, or do you think this was fair scoring?
I just wish the only way I feel like it could be more fair, Derek, I wish they would do a draw scoring per round, a 29-29, because that's how I would have had round 1. Yeah. Round 1, 29, that was even. Yeah, Semmelsberger had him hurt, but it was only in the first 45 seconds. And then, when you have 4 minutes and 15 seconds of control time where you're not trying to advance position, you're not trying to push off the hips, you keep just putting your arm around his head, and that's about all you're doing. It's not a good look. So that I agree. I think both the round 1 tie, and I would have actually given the other ones to Jeremiah Wells as well, because he was controlling more of his fight. He was the one dictating how the fight went, and I do think that matters. Unless you're just a walking punching bag, then that's the one. It doesn't matter. But I think the right guy won, even though contentious, not really.
Round 2 and round 3 clearly went to Jeremiah Wells. I thought round 2 was his best round because he didn't just get top control, he was landing damage on top. That's all we were asking for. The problem is when you get the control time, you're laying on top of somebody in half guard or whatever, and you're just laying there. Kind of like, and I don't want to bring this up, but Muhammad Usman in the prelims versus Junior Tafa. There was a lot of laying and nothing really happening, and you're still getting that round scored for you. So the problem is exactly what you highlighted. Semmelsberger, there was really no attempts to utilize his legs. He was using half of his body to do all of the work, and against a supreme athlete like Jeremiah Wells, it's just not going to happen. My question, though, is that now we're starting to see that was probably the most hurt Jeremiah Wells has been in his entire career. So moving up the ranks, because that's what's going to happen with a big win over Semmelsberger, this win counts. This style of his, clearly it's working, but is there an antidote? Do one of these higher level fighters at 170 pounds, are they going to have an antidote to the Jeremiah Wells puzzle?
To answer your question, yes. I think there's going to be the ones that know how to escape off the bottom, how to use multi-limbs, how to play into and then reverse the position of Jeremiah Wells and use that strength against him. I think there's those fighters out there, especially in the 170-pound division. My big kind of question or X factor that comes into Jeremiah Wells is how in the world did Semmelsberger not put him away? Like, this boy has a chin on him, and especially I think it was round 2 where he was going for a takedown, and Semmelsberger turns and cranks an elbow on Jeremiah Wells' head right on the temple. You saw his legs hit the ground. 9 times out of 10, everybody goes to sleep, or you keep just dropping elbows on, and the ref steps in, except for Jeremiah Wells. That's kind of what blew my mind here. Is this guy has just ultimate resolve and chin, and just like a mental capacity to stay calm in the fight and get the fight where you want it. That right there is a big X factor to me, Derek. Do you think they're going to see a lot of people struggling putting away Jeremiah Wells, or was this just a one-off where he's really just in the game?
No, I think people are going to struggle to put him away unless you flatline him. I think he's one of those guys. There's another fighter that comes to mind right now who I believe he just got cut from the UFC, actually, man. And he's the dude who comes in, he does a backflip, like 3 backflips before every single fight, and he's very similar. I'm blanking on the name. But this is another one of those guys. And I don't want to say Alves, maybe something Alves, Rafael Alves.
Say Worley Alves.
Not Worley Alves, not him. No. That's a little bit of a he's similar mold, right? But I think his name is Rafael Alves. And the point is, it's another one of these guys. You have to flatline them, or you have to drain their gas tank completely. And the scary part is Jeremiah Wells did not feel drained in round 3. All that grappling. This is a jiu-jitsu black belt, man. This is a high level dude. And the reason why I felt like Semmelsberger could have an edge here is because look at the youth factor, right? 30 years old versus 36. Jeremiah Wells is 36 years old, but performing like a 27-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, this dude goes, and that should be his nickname, Motor. Instead of Muhammad Usman, it should be Jeremiah Motor Wells right there. Either way, phenomenal victory right here. I would like to see how he performs against some of the other guys in the welterweight division. I'm talking about the Neil Magny's, the Sean Brady's. I'd like to see that. Two Philadelphia guys, Wells and Sean Brady, going against each other. I do think Semmelsberger, biggest takeaway from here is, this dude learned how to grapple a little bit. You're not going to be able to stop this man. You're not going to be able to fucking stop him. But in the meantime, Jeremiah Wells, he is the winner, he is the victor, and he moves up the rankings.